So to whoever's listening to this is the Disengage Podcast. My dad and I are here, and we're going to watch an episode of Star Trek Enterprise together. And if you'd like to watch along with us, uh, you can sync up when you hit play on the episode with when we say one, two, three, go. Um, and the episode that we're starting with, of course, is going to be Broken Bow Part 1, the first of the two-parter pilot for Star Trek Enterprise. So, Dad, are you ready?
I think so. Okay. Okay. All
All
right.
right, you
So
ready to
I
go?
guess there you go. Okay.
All right,
Maybe-
three, two, one, go.
There it is.
Uh-oh, I can't hear anything on my end.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay. Recording. Okay.
All right,
Okay.
we're doing
So,
three, two, one, go with me
okay.
again.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
three, two, one, go.
It's the directness of Archer and the kind of the
These
brazenness and
Klingons, they're anxious to get their man back.
Yeah.
I can
He
have my ship ready to go in 3 days.
he's
We'll take him back home.
he's so different from the other
Alive.
captains because he
This is
has
no
like
yeah,
time to be
he has
imposing.
no captains to look to as
right,
examples.
right,
Like there
right,
has
About your
been no
crew,
Starfleet up to this
the
point.
comm officers in
yeah,
Brazil. You haven't
I,
selected a medical officer
that's
yet.
one of the things about the show that I
Good,
really
that's all I
love. Is
need.
they're doing everything from
Admiral.
scratch.
exactly. Yeah, everything he sees about. I mean, he has models of commanding officers
We've
from
been waiting
other
for nearly a
services,
century,
but not,
Ambassador.
Mhm.
nothing that's sort of
This
cultivated in
seems as good a
Starfleet
time as any to get started.
does.
Yeah,
To me, you're making a mistake.
When your logic doesn't work, you raise your voice.
That's a
You've
great
been on
line too.
Earth too long.
but it also hints at what comes to pass later in season four
Mhm.
with the Vulcans,
Yeah,
where it turns out that they're not as logical as they
I had a
thought they
feeling
were.
right,
you're approaching
right.
this
Yeah,
too well,
yeah.
Rico. Don't screw this up.
Yeah, with the Vulcans, everything is really just below the surface. They're just really skilled at keeping everything suppressed.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I really
thing with transporter, this thing with artificial
Takes
gravity,
practice.
and that there's actual technology that has issues and components, and it can
Slept in zero
it's
G.
just taken for granted
Slept.
so
It's just like being back in the womb.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
readily.
Yeah, yeah. Or even the
Tells me you've been to
the
Travis
um,
Prime.
the little comment that Travis made earlier in the
Takes a
episode
minute
where
to
he
get
said
there.
that
I've also been to
you know
Dralax and both the
when
Tanini.
he was on his dad's freighter,
No
his
wonder
dad would
heaven
always
is a
keep
planet
the
besides Earth.
the um
Nothing
the
there.
artificial gravity at like
Tick.
point 0.8 instead of one full Earth gravity,
The women
Right.
so
on
that you would have a little spring in his step.
Hmm.
Man, it's
The idea of
Yeah.
them like having control over their
Yeah,
their,
right.
their level of gravity on the ship
secondhand,
is
third
it's
hand.
fun, it's charming.
I
Yeah,
guess growing up a
yeah,
boomer
right,
has its
right.
Early days of space travel.
Got an empty seat here, Commander.
was just a
I
few
guess
days ago.
because later on in the show,
Another
I think they
Klingon
kind
doesn't
of
go
imply that
unnoticed.
before the Suliban started splitting up into different cabals, they weren't really empire builders. Like they colonized a few planets, but they weren't really that interested in taking over. Really needed to talk to their immediate neighbors.
Yeah.
So
A lot of
all the
things.
time. I know the
Well,
Prime
yeah,
Directive doesn't
constantly.
exist yet,
Yeah,
but
right.
Food. I don't see any
breaking the Prime
restaurants.
Directive at the to measure trust requires close contact, which means it has to be a kiss.
Exactly. Couldn't be a handshake or anything.
Couldn't just be a pat on the back or anything.
Right. Yeah. Rubbing noses or something.
Yeah. It's a little bit of that Gene Roddenberry flair that is carried through all other iterations of Star Trek.
Exactly.
Yeah, to be honest, the Klingon Empire kind of seems like a mess.
Yeah.
Every time we ever hear about their internal politics, it's civil war, backfighting, and all that kind of stuff.
It kind of makes sense. We have an entire society based on nothing but assassination and proving proving on strength against others, that kind of stuff. If that's the
Yeah,
dominant level, there's a dominant component of your culture, then it's going to be hard to have any kind of real kind of civil
yeah,
development.
yeah. It'd be pretty terrible to live in a society where everything is Game of Thrones all the time.
Yeah, right. And if you did, I mean, makes it difficult to imagine how people would ever really develop technology because there'd be this lack of consistency in civil development that would really thwart creativity and supporting people altruistic things, ideas can come to fruition and something, you know.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, that's probably why the Klingon always lose.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
The lower technology really adds tension. Because it's in other Star Trek shows, they would just beam them off. It would be an issue.
Again, one of the things that gives a show character is that it's not so simple. There's things are difficult and challenging and dangerous.
Yeah. Now, I thought that Brick and Bow was split into two parts.
It is, yeah.
It seems like this episode is.
It's kind of, I think we may have flowed into this. Oh, yeah. Joined together.
Well, do you want to stop it here and pick it up?
They return to the Enterprise and else.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Another thing that's established in this is that away teams typically include the captain for no discernible reason.
Yeah,
Right.
which seems like a major flaw.
Yeah, it's a whole. Yeah.
I mean,
It's
it's
not
great
like
for storytelling.
any other military protocol. I mean, that's just,
Yeah, great for storytelling, bad for command survivability.
exactly. We've got all these. Not only the commanding officer, but we've got the chief science officer, chief engineer, chief
Yeah,
technical officer, all these things.
like all of your senior officers
Yeah.
are in grave danger.
Yeah. Yes, I'd forgotten that this comes up even in the pilot, where the two of them have to go rub each other down.
Well, of course they gotta prove how sexy the new show is.
That's right, exactly.
It's kind of interesting that this sort of thing never came up in any other series. Like,
That's right.
I
Yeah.
think the way they explain it is that in the other series, the transporter has a biofilter,
Ah,
but I
all
feel
right.
like the biofilter must not work that well because they're bringing alien contagions onto the ship all the time, anyways.
That's right. Exactly.
It just must not be very good.
That's right. Maybe it only gets rid of I don't know the common cold or something.
I
The
guess so.
Andorian flu or something like that.
Yeah. These decontamination chamber scenes are pretty gratuitous, though.
Yeah,
They're
I know. Yeah,
they're a bit much.
yeah, it really is.
They really want to show off Jolene Blaylock's body here. It's
Yeah, exactly.
and of course they have to pretend like they're not attracted to each other at all. Like,
No,
oh,
yeah,
this is
right.
this is par for the course
Exactly.
for Starfleet officers.
It's kind of weird. I mean, the incongruity of that conversation with the actions they're taking in that chamber is just. I
Hmm.
mean, I don't know how much that drives the plot forward or not, but
Yeah, it's actually kind of like a very similar. It's a very similar tactic to what they did in Game of Thrones when they had to do a whole bunch of exposition. They would just have a sex scene while someone was spouting exposition the entire time. So I guess that tactic must work because
I guess.
TV shows keep doing it.
Yeah. Mhm.
I kind of wish more of the doctors in Star Trek were like Phlox, where they were using all sorts of
Yeah.
fun and
Yeah.
creative uh, medical systems, and weird little animals that he just has on hand.
Yeah,
I think it's fun. It's creative.
it is fun. Yeah, Phlox is a really appealing character, actually. It's-
Yeah, I've heard that for a lot of people, he's like their favorite character.
yeah.
Archer's a lot more unsure of himself than most of the later captains.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of the other Starfleet captains seem uh, very self-assured, like they really know what they're doing.
Yeah. Right. It's true. I like at least that he has a dog, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Bringing a dog aboard a spaceship on a very dangerous mission makes slightly more sense than a thousand children
Yes, right. Yeah.
on
I'd rather see
on
the
one of the
dog.
Galaxy class ships. I could
Uh,
actually picture a naval captain having a dog on board a
well,
carrier or something.
exactly. Well, you've probably seen Crimson Tide, right? With Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington.
I think so. Maybe a really
Yeah,
long time ago.
Gene Hackman, the captain, he has a Jack Russell Terrier on board the sub with him. You know, which is
Yeah.
I think I think that's nuts. Even in the old Navy, they would let
Yeah.
a dog be on board. He lets the dog pee all over the place. And it's kind of ridiculous. So
Well, are you going to tell the captain no?
that's right, I suppose. Mhm. But it does make me wonder what happens to his poor beagle when that need has to be addressed.
Well, well, this is one of the Star Trek shows that acknowledges having enlisted crewmen in the
Yeah.
in the more junior ranks. So
Yeah, really. She's an interesting Vulcan in that, um, as you mentioned before, their emotions in Enterprise are kind of right below the surface.
yeah, yeah,
Spock in the original series, Spock. I mean, outside the pilot, anyway. The original series, Spock was very, very deadpan, very lacking in affect. You know, which was fine. That was what he's supposed to be. But T'Pol is very. You can hear the eagerness in her voice. You know, there's something driving her, kind of on edge.
definitely. Yeah, I think it really comes down to that pride that they pretend they don't have. They're very
Yeah, yeah,
prideful in
yeah. Oh, for
Enterprise.
sure. Yeah,
Not just Paul. All of them
yeah,
seem very
yeah.
like very sure of themselves, very confident, but
Hmm.
uh, to a fault.
Yeah. I wouldn't either. It's the last thing I'd expect to be a little layer of cyclohexane. But you,
Yeah. I mean, I do really like the idea of like hiding in a gas giant. I think that's such a
yeah.
cool idea for a
Oh, it
secret
is.
base.
Sure, that's a great idea. Yeah. I just love the techno babble. So what is cyclohexane? And what would liquid phosphorus? Is there such a thing as liquid phosphorus? I mean, I
Uh,
guess there is.
I don't know what liquid phosphorus would be. Like,
Mhm.
isn't phosphorus normally a solid?
I think so. It's a metal. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so liquid phosphorus would have to be like superheated,
I
you would
guess it'd be
imagine.
really incredible danger. I mean, phosphorus burns almost explosively and super hot. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Another small detail about Enterprise. I like that their sensors are kind of crappy. Like
they're what?
I like that their sensors are so crappy.
Oh yeah, right.
Like you would never have a problem with sensors in TOS or
No,
TNG. Like
no,
they're picking out needles and haystacks all the time in those shows. But in this one,
yeah,
it's just like, oh, there's like 3,000, but I have no idea if any of them are Klingon. Like,
yeah.
there's no way to be sure. I wish that the Suliban had actually played like a bigger role in this series. I feel like they pop up every once in a while when they need to do temporal Cold War stuff, but
Yeah,
I feel like it's kind of a missed opportunity not to make them a bigger part of the show.
yeah. Yeah, they're a very interesting species.
Hmm. Especially since it seems like there's a lot of internal politics going on with them, like all these
Yeah,
different
right.
cabals fighting for each
I mean,
other. But
there's a
we
lot of
really only ever see one cabal. We see the ones that are working with like the
yeah,
Shadow Dude.
yeah, there's a lot of factions amongst them, it seems.
Yeah, they do kind of downplay the complexity of trying to fly an alien ship
Yeah,
where all the controls are in a language that you don't know and
dark as all. Yeah,
you've never seen any of it before.
exactly. Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't think concern is an emotion either, is it? It's certainly.
I I don't know. I mean, if being mission oriented is not an emotion, then I think that concern should also not be an emotion.
Right, right.
I
Yeah, like desiring the success of the mission that isn't necessarily an emotional state. That's It'd
Yeah,
certainly be a
that's
logical position.
yeah. I think that in a way it's kind of just the humans sort of taking a dig at to Paul
Yeah, that's I
for not
suppose.
being
Yeah,
human.
it's that kind of the thing you can throw at her at any time and say, "Hey, I think that's an emotional response, isn't it?"
Like, oh boy, you sure sound emotional to Paul.
That's right. So,
This whole scene is very submarine how they're like sending up depth charges to try and find the Enterprise.
yeah, yeah. That's kind of nice. Another nice thing about this is it's still relatively speaking primitive. It's
Hmm.
dangerous. It's confusing, disorienting.
Yeah, and really every Star Trek fight is at its best when it's like smaller scale, when
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
big
absolutely.
big fleet battles just get kind of hard to watch when it's like
They're kind of
the cat and
tedious.
mouse game.
Yeah,
The cat and mouse game is the best type of Star Trek battle you can
yeah,
have.
definitely. That was what was so great about the Mutara Nebula fight in Star Trek Two, Wrath of
Yeah,
Khan.
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
just the fact that Khan couldn't think in 3 dimensions, he was thinking 2 dimensionally, and or he could have, but he didn't.
Hmm.
That was fun.
And then they never use those tactics again.
That's right. Never was. And only on
They
rare
just
occasions
nailed.
do you see, ships coming at 90 degrees to each other. And we've got, or 180 degrees, we've got one ship that appears to be on, you know, right side up from our perspective, and the other one is upside down. When really, and they could be at any angle at all with respect to each other. It's completely immaterial in space. Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Usually they put them all, they're all kind of lined up the same way, and they're all the upper side is
Yeah.
always the same
Maybe it's just
orientation.
maybe it's just considered good manners in
Maybe so, yeah.
the age of space exploration to all stay aligned roughly with the galactic plane.
Yeah, yeah, sure, maybe so.
Exploding consoles and sparking all the time is kind of a
Yeah,
big
that's
design
yeah,
flaw that all
yeah,
these Starfleet ships have.
yeah. I mean, every time one of these things blows up, you think, well, I mean, that system's gone for sure. And what connections did it unhook between that panel and the next panel?
Yeah, yeah. I guess like that is one of the constraints of doing a space show because
Yeah,
all the explosions are on the outside, so you got to
yeah, right,
show a little bit of stakes by putting some explosions on the inside.
right, right. But it's more like, in reality, it'd be more like, a fuse would go out or something. You'd something, some kind of overload protection would burn out and maybe you get a little fizzle of smoke. But if you had all these explosions going on the bridge all the time, it's like, how could you ever control anything? How would you get anything done?
Yeah. Honestly, that's part of what makes season three so great is that things really do start breaking. And it's a really long time to repair things.
Oh, yeah.
the fact that they're moving around like kilometers at a time to get away from the depth charges, I think that's a nice little touch. It sort of it shows just how big space is.
Yeah, yeah. It's
It's a it's a cool thing. I really like that. I like the idea of space being big and you have to
yeah, right.
treat it that way. Gives you an idea of the scale that they're working
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, the video you sent a couple days ago about the scale of things,
Oh yeah,
and how far and fast the weapons would have to go, and how they would they be visible or not, and it's,
yeah. The battles would take like seconds and you wouldn't even see
right,
your enemy.
right. Kind of terrifying in a way. I mean, the scale involved was just like so bizarrely incomprehensible, and the speeds are too much to fathom. So
Definitely.
space would be a very scary place, I think. A lot scarier than it seems to be on Star Trek, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. My earbuds powered off. Can you still hear me?
I'm just listening to the computer.
Okay. Can you hear me though?
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Weird.
Yeah, you're fine. I like this particular visual effect. The
Yeah, yeah. It's a neat visual effect. It's very different from what we normally see. It's sort of I think it's a pretty good indication of time being kind of out of whack.
yeah, yeah. I think they were setting up Trip and pull from beginning to the beginning, probably. That's why they have
They,
this intense quarrels, this
they have
dislike.
to follow the enemies to lovers arc.
Right, right.
There's still plenty of techno babble in this show, just slightly less of it.
What's that?
There's still plenty of techno babble in this show, but
Oh
just
yeah, yeah,
slightly less.
yeah.
This effect in the time room kind of makes me think of Donnie Darko, where in Donnie Darko he's got this sort of
Oh yes, yes.
water-like tube thing coming out of his chest that shows the path that he has to
Right,
follow.
the pathway, yeah. Hmm. It is like that. It's very similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
Kind of a dumb move from Silic there. He had literally just said maybe you shouldn't fire a gun in this room because bad things will happen.
That's what it was like. I didn't know they were in Plan A right now. Now, is he really Archer or is he some other being? Looks like Archer.
You know
It has-
what? That's a great question.
doesn't matter.
Like you're functionally identical, but does that
Yeah.
mean that you're still you, or are you just a clever forgery?
Yes.
Now, I don't want to be a stickler for details, but that's not the right color for Klingon blood.
Yeah.
It's supposed to look like Pepto Bismol.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, that's right. It's very clear in Star Trek 6. Seems to me.
Apparently, the reason why they did that was so that they wouldn't get like an R rating or something.
Yeah. Yep. I think Klingon on Duolingo has thank you. I'm pretty sure it does.
They're teaching you polite Klingon, I guess.
That's right. Yeah. One of the first things they teach
Maybe
you is she fires missiles or something like that. I think it's one of the first things you learn.
maybe the Klingon they teach on Duolingo is like after the end of the Klingon War when they joined the Federation.
Yeah, yeah, kind of domesticated Klingons.
Yeah. Worf would certainly know how to say thank you. He's a very polite man.
Yeah, right. Well, he had lived among humans for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, you can actually. It might be prudent to be afraid of things that can damage your craft. But so,
Yeah.
oops. I didn't mean to make it stop. Oh, wait. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Well,
Well,
okay.
you got any thoughts overall on the episode?
Um, yeah, I mean it's a little. I mean, it's really. It's. I mean, I love Star Trek Enterprise
Hmm.
in every respect. Really, I don't have any trouble with it. It's it's like many pilots. It's a little bit kludgy, a little bit kind of hammered together in a way that tries to do too much in too little time, and leaves loose ends. But that's okay. I mean, it established the characters it needed to establish, and it. It has that sense of adventure and danger and uncertainty, which is really what it needs, I think. Um, and it makes you. I mean, and if you are into Trek, then it makes you want more. I mean, so I want to find out what happens to everybody and see where they go and how they grow and you know how they get used to the technology, how they get used to this sort of the nascent stuff that leads to things like the Prime Directive, which then they either keep or don't keep as circumstances require. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that it's definitely not Enterprise's strongest episode. Um, it, it's it, it's not the strongest, but it's not bad either. It's certainly stronger than a lot of other pilot episodes that the Trek has had. Like, uh, I don't want to offend any of our listeners who really really love TNG, but I think Encounter at Farpoint is the slowest, most plodding episode of Star Trek I've ever seen, possibly any show that I've ever seen. I do not like Encounter at Farpoint.
No.
This, by comparison, is much more fun. I think it establishes the characters much
Yeah.
better. You get a good idea of who each of these characters are, at least to start with, and
Yeah.
it it gives you an idea of like how they might grow, how they'll change,
Yeah.
instead of having them be set in their ways and believing that they're going to stay like that forever.
Right.
It's already setting up character drama and conflict.
Yeah. Right.
And it does a really good job of showing off that this is a different kind of Star Trek where things are a little bit more up in the air when
Yeah.
the early days when Starfleet is still not established, the ships are slow, combat is more dangerous, and
Yeah.
even things we take for granted
Right.
like shields and transporters are not the norm. Like they don't even have photon torpedoes in this episode, I don't think.
Right. No,
Um,
exactly.
so honestly, I think it's a great way to start the show.
Yeah.
Like I said, not their strongest episode, but it's fun. It's a fun
Yeah.
episode that shows
Absolutely.
off the
Absolutely.
tone
Yeah.
of the show really well.
Yeah. Yeah. It does. Yeah, for sure. The other thing that I think is really interesting about this pilot and about Enterprise overall is that if if the Star Trek universe hadn't been there, you could have made a show like this with a little more backstory to it, to explain the Vulcans and all that sort of stuff, as reasonably benign alien presences who were still pretty hesitant to let humanity go forward and get into stuff they thought was too big for their britches. But you
Yeah,
really could have
yeah,
this could have been kind of like could have been standalone, kind of like a Stargate or like what was it DSV, the submarine show with Roy Scheider. I forget what it's called, something DSV. And it could have had a life of its own, and that's because it's different enough from the rest of it,
hmm
in both the way in the way it's written and the way it's represented technologically, that it has a standalone character to it. That's what I really appreciated that about it. It's not dependent on anything else. I don't
hmm
think, it's less dependent, I think, on the
Yeah,
rest.
I think I would agree with that also. It it, I, it's just a good show overall.
Yeah,
It's
right.
really solid.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and it's a shame that it didn't last longer than it did.
yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. I wish it had gone on for more seasons, but um, we have what we have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, fortunately, what we have is pretty great. So,
Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, I'm happy to rewatch. I mean, I really don't get tired of it. It's one of those things that, like the other tracks, mostly. I'm not the biggest TN. I always watched TNG when TNG was in its first run back in the 80s. I would I unhesitatingly wanted to watch it. I would make sure that it was back in the days of VCRs. I would try to always make sure to set the VCR for the right time because it was working or something, couldn't get to it, or made sure to be in front of the TV when it was on, because it was Star Trek, and that's what mattered most. But still, it was never my favorite of them, in a lot of ways. But this one really, this and TOS are really, I think, my favorite of them. I never get tired of seeing them.
mhm.
I just don't tire of them. So, and I'll watch any Star Trek. It's fine. I watched Voyager, as you remember, we watched Voyager all the time, and that was fun. And
Yeah.
Yeah, but I suppose DS9 deserves another look. I just could never quite immerse myself in it, but wasn't my
Yeah.
thing.
I keep hearing people say how great DS9 is, and I'll get around to watching it eventually.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly.
but
So,
but even so, like I very happy to start watching Enterprise again. It's just
oh, yeah,
it, it, it's fun. Like I think another thing that it has going for it is the pace. Like the pace is
yeah,
really good.
yeah, it is, it
A
is.
lot of other treks tend to do this very slow pace, which is good for some episodes, but not great for every episode.
Yeah,
Like to compare it to compare it to TNG again. Like the really slow pace is great in an episode like The Measure of a Man
yeah.
in TNG,
Hmm.
but in anything that involves um, like an away mission,
Hmm.
uh, that really slow pace can be a big hindrance.
Yeah,
If it's an away mission that is supposed to have a lot of action or implies a lot of action.
right.
Um, and I think that this show sort of manages that pacing a lot better.
Mhm.
I think
Right,
partly because it is trying to be a bit more action forward.
right,
Um, but also I
right.
think that they finally have the filmmaking and the special effects necessary to make an action forward show
Mhm.
that doesn't look incredibly goofy because a lot of the action in TOS and TNG um,
Yeah,
is very silly looking.
yeah, right.
The at least the at least the non-ship battle action.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, Kirk fighting with the Gorn, obviously. I mean, that's you just have to bite your tongue and suspend disbelief and go
Yeah,
forward. Just not worry about it too much, you know.
yeah.
Or or even things like Tasha Yar being swallowed by the black tar thingamajiggy, the horrible tar monster. It was pretty good, but at the same time, it was also very like, yeah, I kind of get what they're doing here.
Yeah.
You know, it's you know um so yeah. But the other thing about this, the reason I think another reason the pacing in Enterprise works, and the reason that it moves the way it does, I think, is because it's that aspect of this is new, this is new, this is new, this is we never did this.
Hmm.
Look at this, yeah, look over here. It's like, oh, squirrel, shiny thing, there's which in this case is good because that's what moving. They're always, everything they find is something new and unusual and either really exciting or really threatening. And it's so weird that there's just this desire to keep moving and finding and moving and finding. And I think that's
Hmm. Yeah.
and what's interesting, I think, there is that on the other hand, because that they do that pretty well, when you get an episode that's kind of more slow paced, like I can't remember the title or anything, but when T'Pol talks about her ancestors who were stranded on Earth in that Midwestern
Right.
town,
Carbon
yeah,
Creek.
yeah, right, Carbon Creek, yeah, which I think is a fantastic episode. I love Carbon Creek, and it's a lot of talk and cultural interaction, and slowly figuring out how we're going to get home. Are we going to stuck here forever? And it's just and seeing the way the characters, the Vulcans, get on with the humans and the way they adapt, and even the affection they develop for some of the human people they come in contact with.
Hmm.
It's really interesting, and you want to see what's going to happen, and you're kind of rooting for both teams. And it doesn't matter that it doesn't have a rapid pace. It couldn't have a fast pace. It wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It needs to be that kind of slow, methodical, discussing, thinking, you know, kind of
Hmm.
episode. So they do both.
Yeah.
They do both.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah, so.
Yeah. I'm not saying that slow pacing is bad, but I'm saying
Oh,
that
no,
like
no, no.
this one I think manages its pace a little bit better. It knows when to be slow and when to be fast.
Right,
Whereas
right.
I think that TNG generally, at least from what I've seen, so I haven't finished
Mhm.
the whole series yet, tends to be always kind of at that sort of same steady slow pace. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I think so. I think so. And it was. It almost kind of had to be more cerebral in a way because I mean so much of a lot of what, and in terms of slow is fine, plotting is not, right? So you can
Yeah.
have a slow pace that's perfectly acceptable and it moves the story forward the way it needs to. And it allows the characters to move within the storyline as they have to. But plotting is not. Dragging your feet because I don't know whatever the reasoning is, because you have to, contemplate the grandeur of or the I don't know how to express this, but but plotting and dragging your feet because you need to over-examine something and is that's not helpful.
Yeah, I would completely agree. Yeah. And like what you mentioned before about everything being new, this show has sort of the double advantage of Enterprise has the double advantage of where uh, everything that's new to us is also new to the characters, while also a lot of things that are new to the characters are not new to us. So we have the advantage of getting to enjoy some dramatic irony where the audience knows what's going on and the
Right.
characters don't,
Yeah, right.
which
Mhm.
is fun. It's a great it's a great advantage that this show has.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I hadn't thought of that, but that's you're absolutely right. That's kind of
Yeah.
cool. So, and this is the only show so far that I recall in any of the treks that actually has linguistic technobabble, right? The polyguttural, the 17 polyguttural dialects, whatever that, what does that
Whatever
mean?
that could
What
possibly
does that
mean.
mean? Because so and some kind of like some other strange form of syntax, which was made up. I don't know, but yeah. So even linguistics got to have some technobabble. So that
Mhm.
pleases me in no end. So, there you are. Yes. Well, I look forward to the next one.
Yeah.
Since it's the
Looking forward to
fight
it
or
also.
flight. Okay, so
All right.
okay.
All
Well,
right.
okay.
Well,
Any last parting shots or
I guess we should just figure out how to do an outro.
yeah, yeah.
Well, we've been the Disengage Podcast. Uh, Join us soon for another episode of Star Trek Enterprise. We're going to be watching the whole series, hopefully. All right.
One after the other. Yep. Sounds
All
good.
right.
Hope you've
Goodbye.
enjoyed our commentary and uh, intellectual pursuit of this wonderful show. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Take care, everybody.
Yep.
Bye.
See you, everybody.